my show every Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., where we deep dive into the world of astrology, numerology, and life coaching with a fresh perspective and a real discussion about what are real solutions and what are myths. Don't miss. That's every Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., only on Radio Zindagi, 1550 a.m. Jiye Ja.
The views, opinions, and statements expressed in the following program reflect views of the program contributors and do not necessarily reflect the views of Fremont Broadcasting LLC, its management, or its sponsors.
Hello, and hello. Good afternoon, good evening, dear Radio Zindagi listeners. First things first, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and thank you for waiting so patiently for this show that you wait for every week. Yes, I'm talking about the Dr. Saket Bhatia Show, which has, in very record time become so popular and a name that's very sought after, not only here in the Bay Area but all over the US. I'm talking about Dr. Saket Bhatia, जो हमारे साथ जुड़ते हैं every Tuesday between 4 to 5 p.m. So listeners, keep your phones ready. Very soon we'll be able to have you on the show. Call in, and also the number, please note, I'd like to remind you, is 510-770-1550. If you have any questions regarding your future, regarding your career, regarding your health, your family, your children, you can tune in. And after the show, if you'd like to book an appointment with Dr. Saket Bhatia, the number to call is 408-639-5300. As you all know by now, Dr. Saket Bhatia has a PhD in astrology and numerology, and he's a businessman, he's a technologist, but he's extremely passionate about these two subjects, which is astrology and numerology. And we are so happy that he's able to reach out to all our listeners. We have a change in RJ today. To all our listeners, it's been a while since I've done a live show, so everyone needs to be kind to me, including Dr. Bhatia.
So usually we have Vedika, who's the RJ for our show, but she's on leave today, or she's trying to become a practicing astrologer. I'm not sure which one it is, but we had interest from somebody else. So we have Seba here. For those of you who don't know who Seba is, she happens to be the director of sales or VP of sales at
Radio
I'm in
sales
Zindagi.
And operations. I used to be an RJ. I had a show of my own on Saturday called Saturday Tarka, but it's been a while, so I'm very happy now that I'm sitting here on this side and you're introducing me. That's never happened to me.
No, it's fine. So Seba is the one who made the show possible. When we wanted to start coming on radio, she's the one that met me, and she said, it'd be great if we could do a show together. And that's been almost close to 6 months now.
It has been, yes. And like I said, it has gained popularity so fast, and you've become a very sought after name, Dr. Bhatia.
I'm happy about it, and it's all because I think Radio Zindagi does an amazing job. It's like a family. You put everything so well together, and it's a pleasure coming here. See, I was very vocal when I said that there are other radio stations also, but we chose to come on Radio Zindagi because we sort of have the same direction, the same vision, and the way we gel together is very nice.
And I think that's utmost important.
Yeah.
So with that, on 1, 2, 3, we'll say Jiye Ja. That's our slogan.
No problem.
Radio Zindagi, Jiye Ja. Okay, I didn't say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Radio Zindagi,
Jiye Ja.
Jiye Ja.
So this is going to be the last show of the year.
It is.
And obviously we're going to have many, many more shows next year. So इस साल के लिए Seba told me, let's keep a very casual show. Let's not focus too much on different things like talking 5 weeks about one topic. So let's try talking about what is important for this year, next year, and probably covering up some old aspects of what we wanted to talk
like
about.
a little recap maybe. You've touched some very important subjects. A lot of our listeners were tuned in at that time, but for those who are joining us fresh today, a little recap would be great. And I have some more questions of my own that I'd like to ask you.
You have to take an appointment. For that, you can call our office.
Yes. So I'm representing the listeners, and I feel like, there are three kinds of people: those who believe in astrology very vehemently, there are those who just, don't believe at all. And then there are people who are sort of on the fence about it, either because they don't know too much about it, or they've not had a good experience previously with any other astrologers, or they just don't know too much about it.
Correct.
And maybe I'm more on the fence types. because I just never dwelled too much into it.
Okay.
But what I really, really find fascinating about astrology is that, you feel like there's a purpose to life. It's like, like I have a connection with the cosmic universe. That just excites me. It gives me a kick.
So as you grow older, that happens. You get that kick when you're a little
Thank
older.
you for putting my age out there.
So see, for those people who believe in astrology, it's great.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't believe in astrology, that's fine too. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not here to change your thought process. We're just here to tell you that we believe that astrology is a viable science. There are some people who believe we never went on the moon.
True.
I did not go on the moon, but I believe we went on the moon just because, part of me says yes, we did. Same with astrology, right? If you go back thousands of years, why is it that we can see when you're going to get married, when you'll have a child, when you lose a job? Why is it we see one chart and we say you're going to have, I don't know, 2 marriages, 5 marriages, multiple mansions, houses, money, and for some people, life is just a drag.
Yeah.
Why is it that we see that in the chart and it happens? Why is it that the chart of Prime Minister Modi says he will be Prime Minister? Or Adityanath which says he'll be next Prime Minister? Why do these things happen? So things are written, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I said. It gives you a bit of a kick to feel that there is more to life, that we're not just here by some,
You're not
there's
here by mistake.
actually a purpose, and you are connected to the universe, and there is a cosmic sort of, reason why you're here. And that's just exciting. And just like you believe in other things that you don't see.
It's
you also
more
believe
than
in.
just you're actually here for a purpose, for a reason. And you have to fulfill that. If you don't, you're going to come back again.
Yeah.
And you're going to start fulfilling that desire that you didn't fulfill in this time. So it's an endless cycle. It just keeps going on and on. And, we'll talk more about that.
Absolutely. I can also already see that the phone lines are buzzing.
Ouch.
So I know, Dr. Bhatia, that you like to start taking phone calls a little bit into the show after you've spoken. So I'd like to request our listeners that, if you're trying us, just give us 5 minutes until we are sort of doing a quick recap on the year and the subjects and the topics that Dr. Bhatia spoke about, and then we'll open up the caller lines. Again, the number is 510-770-1550. That's 510-770-1550. So my first question to you, Dr. Saket Bhatia, is that, obviously you believe in astrology. You've studied it. You're an expert on it. Do you feel like, especially in the coming year, do you feel like everyone should consult their astrological predictions in the morning before they start their day? Like, how seriously should they be sort of consulting their charts on a daily basis?
So do you check your zodiac sign or something in the morning when you get up?
I used to when I was younger, and it was all about love and finding the love of your life. Not
Love ho gaya.
anymore.
Love,
Oh, yeah.
Love ho gaya, finding ho gaya. So now you're happy.
Now I'm happy.
No. So see, 2023 was not the best year for everyone. But honestly, it was a significant improvement over 2020. 2020 was COVID. Things fell apart. I mean, you work at the radio station. Things were quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't get out of our house. There was lockdown. People couldn't travel. Businesses weren't doing well. And then came 2021. The stock market started doing better. 2022. And this year has been ugly in one way or the other.
True.
We had wars. We had the Fed, increasing rates and companies shutting down left, right, and center. I have had company CEOs in my office, telling me that we've laid off hundreds or thousands of employees. I've had people that used to work in companies now that just can't seem to find a job.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. But these things happen. This is life. You can't stop and say, it's over for me, I can't do this. There's going to be another day. There's going to be another opportunity.
Yeah.
So how is 2024 shaping out for us? Let's see. 2023, we had 7 planets that went retrograde at one time.
Okay.
At the same time, 7. And that's not a good sign, because when a planet goes retrograde, the energy of the planet is contained within. There's no external manifestation of that energy. Mercury is the planet of business that went retrograde. Business
Okay.
comes to a standstill, companies start laying off. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, went retrograde, starts contracting. Saturn
Okay.
went retrograde, dead halt, right? Neptune, all these planets go retrograde. In 2024, the first planet to come out of retrograde is Jupiter. That's a
see.
good sign.
That's a
So
good
it starts
sign.
expansion, right? 2024, let's see, another planet which comes out, Mercury comes out of retrograde. So Jupiter comes out December 30th. Mercury comes out January 1st, so it goes straight. So this is good for business, good for expansion. But Rahu still sits in the wrong house, and Saturn sits in the wrong house. So when they transit, they're going to cause more wars, more issues on the social level, more political drama. India has elections. US has elections. Don't expect a very positive year politically or economically, better than 2023, but not a healthy year. In numerology, 2024 becomes 8. 8 is an infinite sign. So there's infinite possibilities, there's infinite expansion, but it's going to be contained growth. I'm not trying to tell people it's going to be a bad year. It's definitely better than 2023. You're going to get more jobs, you're going to get more growth. But the war and that stuff is not going to be good for us.
I see.
That is not healthy.
You still think the war is going to continue in the year?
I think there'll be a bigger war. I think there'll be more chance of another sort of an attack or something on a country, or there'll be even more diseases or something along those lines that we believe will spread in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know solutions are hard in these kind of things because we're talking about like universal and, you know, global politics and things like that. But like as a community, like what can we do to send out like good, positive vibes into the universe? Is there anything that's in our hands? Because a lot of us feel very helpless, right? Feel like what can we do? And there's really not much you can do. But
I think the first thing you do is you help yourself.
Yeah.
Because once you help yourself and you get that mental grip on yourself, you know, where you can control yourself, your mind, your fate, your destiny, then you start helping others. Then collectively you can sit together with other people and say, okay, my mind is clear, my mind is open, and let's see what we can help society and benefit. But till the time you don't get a grip on yourself, you can't do that.
So personal growth.
Personal growth. Look at somebody who's suffering some like chronic depression. They can't really help anybody else. You have to help them.
True.
But once that person gets out of depression, they can be, you know, a magical image for somebody else where people can look up and say, look, that person stepped out. Why not? Why can't I?
Right.
So you have to help yourself first. It's always you first. Always about you. Once you fix yourself, you can fix the world.
So, having said that, how can astrology and numerology help to achieve this personal growth, personal success, or like transformations?
So it was very interesting. We had the same question asked in the New York show today.
Okay.
I do a show there as well.
You do, yes.
Yeah, and then one of the hosts there asked me the same question. His name is Kulraj. So, for example, how can astrology, numerology help us, right? But you did your show, what were you called? You went by what name?
When I was doing my show,
Yeah.
Saturday Tadka.
No, you went as RJ...
Seba, yes.
RJ Seba.
Seba.
Now, let's say we change that name to RJ Seb. Not Seba, Seb. What does that mean? Does it give you a better vibe or a worse vibe in your opinion?
To me,
Yeah.
it's very personal, but yeah, no, I would want to retain my originality.
Okay. Same thing in numerology. So you said, what does astrology, numerology do? Numerology is all about name, right? So we're calling this like the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show. If we change this to Dr. Bhatia Show, it doesn't have that same charm to it.
Ring to it.
So same way with numerology, numerology means what? It simply means how numbers shape you, how you shape your destiny, how your destiny shapes the world around you. These three things.
Right.
So in numerology, we have your life path, your destiny, heart's desire. We have all these unique numbers because you won't get what you want in life. You will get what you try to achieve or try hard at in life. In astrology, we have a destiny for you, right? This is where you are going to head. These are your skills, these are your strengths, and these are the challenges that will come. So with the help of astrology and numerology, you will have a clearer path as to whether the future is looking brighter, or not so bright. And if it's not looking so bright, at least be prepared. For example, if I were to tell you, you're going to start a business and it's not going to do well, and you're going to go into debts. And if I tell you that in advance, you might as well try to take a smaller debt.
Right.
Or if something doesn't work, at least recollect those words and say, I'm not going to keep taking more money because I know this is not going to be a good time for me. Or if on the other hand we say, go all out, start your business, run your life, you should take more money, take more loans, grow your business because this is the time for expansion. So same way, if you use astrology and numerology to your benefit, you're going to grow significantly higher, faster in life than if you didn't. It's just like a trainer, right? When you go train for sports, running, swimming, you need a coach. What does the coach do? First, go lose weight, to tone up a little, eat this diet, swim, and he trains you for that particular day. You have to take part in the competition, right?
Yeah. Actually, I've heard your shows where people have called in and they've said, you know, I'm in this business and it's not going well for me, or I'm doing this job and it's not going well. And I've also heard you say that oh, have you tried this? Because I can look into your charts and I see that you have more sort of talent for this particular thing, or there's more potential. You have more potential for sort of, this other thing that you've never thought about. So I love that, because I feel like a lot of times we have these, dead sort of blocks for ourselves, and we don't sort of venture towards other things. We don't, we sort of come to a standstill. So those reminders are really sometimes so important for someone's personal growth, that, I never thought about this, but yeah, maybe
I had a couple
there's hope there.
I had a couple that came over last week, and I know they're listening to the station. They're both engineers, and I can't tell you exactly what they came up with, but I told them, why don't you come up with a service-based idea? And they said, no, we work for software companies. What do you mean by service? And I said, this is the idea that your chart is showing. And they look at each other and say, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This does make a lot of sense. They go back and they call me and they say, yes, possibly we're going to try doing that. So you have to understand, for you, there are things you've never explored in life, right?
Yeah.
You're an RJ, you work in sales.
Right.
There are things you may want to do in life. You just don't know if that's right for you or not.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to tell you have to quit your job. All I'm trying to
Let's
tell
have
you
the discussion outside the radio station.
all I'm trying to tell you is, till the time you haven't explored, how will you know?
True.
But when you explore, you get nervous. I don't want to give up a steady job, source of income, this and that. But at least we can look at your chart and tell you where you stand, how well you're going to do, what your personality is. Sometimes some people have the charts in place, but they have that one planet that makes them so lazy in life, they never get anywhere. Just that one thing. You look at them and you say, this person has it all. Why is he or she not doing it? Just that's one planet that's wrong.
True, but I also like your approach on the other hand, where it's not everything about just the planets. A lot of times you're also life coaching people and saying that, yes, the planets, yes, astrology can help and numerology can help, but at the same time, you got to help yourself too. So it's a very pragmatic and a very practical approach. And I think that's what makes it appealing to our listeners who wait so eagerly for your show, and they can't wait to call into your show. And,
See, that's important. But what you have to understand is, let's talk about money. If your chart says this is a chart of someone who's going to be worth 50 million, you're not going to be a bankrupt person. You're not going to be a billionaire. You're going to be that 50 million plus minus delta, and you're going to get there. As an astrologer, we can tell you you're going to get there. It'll motivate you. You'll get there faster. You'll have the right direction in life. You could go up maybe to 55. You could go down to 45, but you'll get there. Astrology is a path. It's think of us as a guide. We put you on that train ride. We give you that ticket and say, go, live your life. This is your life to live.
Absolutely. With that, I'd like to remind our listeners who are just tuning in that you're listening to Radio Zindagi, of course. You're listening to 1550 AM. We have with us Dr. Saket Bhatia on his own show, the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show. We'd like to open up the caller lines, so please grab your phones and dial the number 510-770-1550. When you give us a call, please tell us your name, give us your birth date, give us hopefully the time of your day, of your birth as well, and ask a question. Again, the number is 510-770-1550. You can ask Dr. Bhatia about your, personal growth, your career, your children, your health, your married life. Any question is welcome. So, Dr. Bhatia, again, what about relationship dynamics? We talked about personal growth. What about relationships? How can we improve our relationships using the science of astrology and numerology?
So, see, this is a very tricky question. Most people don't want to accept the fact that they are not perfect themselves. Right? No relationship is perfect. You have to work on it. You have to accept it. You have to adapt to it. Right? And then you move on. In astrology, we tell you, this is your personality and this is your partner's personality. That's all we tell you. You're a very laid-back, charming person. Your husband is a very aggressive person who's very determined. They want to make it big in life. Or the wife is somebody who's got a big desire to give big name for herself, beauty, fashion, that kind of stuff. The husband, on the other hand, is a more family man. So this is what we tell you. But when numerology kicks in, it's even deeper science. Numerology works wonders in relationships. The number game is a spark thing for relationships. We tell you there's so many parameters: emotion, finances, physical compatibility, personal, relationship with children, relationship with in-laws, health, disease, travel, fortune, fame. All these will come in. And when we sit with individuals, we tell you this, because in numerology we tell you on a map what your scale on 1 to 10 is and what your partner's 1 to 10 is. For example, if your partner's a 1, that means a 1 in what? It could be one in anything. Could be one in life path. Could be one in, the destiny. Could be soul desire, heart's expression. If that's a one, they want to achieve stuff in life. If you're a two, you're a team player. So we tell you, he is a one or she is a one and you're a two, you're more of the team player. So when two of you butt heads, try listening more to the other person.
Okay.
So somebody came to me and said, oh, I love my chart because in numerology, I'm almost all number ones. I said, yeah, you're born to lead. You want to lead a life which is on your terms, on your way, but you're going to miss so much. What about the family life? What
Right.
about the kids? What about the love with parents? What about everything else? It's not in your chart, right? So we tell you, in numerology, we tell you to work around those. In numerology, you can work to improve those. In astrology, it's hard.
और आप इसको कभी भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं at the beginning of your relationship, in between, at any stage of your relationship.
I think you should do it before you get into a relationship, simply because you can tune yourself so you know how to interact with your partner. And many people come to us after they get married also, because astrology and numerology is not just about, okay, will we get married? Let us get married. It's done. It's about how do we work together to improve our marriage, this partnership. Same for businesses. People come, they have partners. They come and they say, how do we improve our business? What is slowing us down? Is it this partner? Is it that partner? Maybe one partner is just a little too fixated on the fact that he wants growth and the other is like, I want something steady. You have to be careful there.
Right. So दोस्तों, अगर आप हमारे साथ जुड़ना चाहते हैं, you can give us a call at 510-770-1550. Again, that's 510-770-1550. We are in conversation with Dr. Saket Bhatia on his own show, the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show. और अगर आप इनसे अपॉइंटमेंट लेना चाहते हैं after the show, तो नंबर नोट कर लीजिए. It's 408-639-5300. अभी अगर आप जुड़ना चाहते हैं तो स्टूडियो लाइन्स are open. 510-770-1550. So, Dr. Bhatia, my next question is कि timing और planning बहुत ही important aspects होते हैं human life के. So, can you share some information on how that can help over here?
देखिए, there are four types of astrologies. Did you know that? In general, timing and planning works very well with what we call mundane astrology. Mundane astrology has to do with planning of significant events. India में मुहूर्त कहते हैं इसे. You know, when they build a building, they construct bridges, they release movies, they go for muhurat. They just don't say, okay, let's go start the bridge construction today. No, that is mundane. That is related to a city, to public events, public affairs. There's auspicious time taken out for that. So what we're trying to tell you is, sometimes you could start a company, you could start a business. It doesn't do well for 4 years, 5 years, and you're just about to give up when the next thing you know is, boom, it took off. Look at Tesla. Right? Tesla, when Musk started Tesla, Google wanted to buy them out for a few $1 million or a few billion, I don't remember the exact, maybe a few billion actually. And he was on the verge of signing because Tesla wasn't able to produce the batteries. They weren't able to produce the cars. And the government told them that the cars really aren't passing the crash test. And he was 2 days away from signing the deal. Not last month, but 2 days when he finally did get the approval. Now go back to Musk's chart and read his chart. He started the company before it was supposed to be successful. It was just an affairs of working with no result. Kabhi hota hai chart mein. You keep working. It's like cooking. You put rice in a pot and it boils and boils, and then after, some time it's cooked. Same with life. You have to wait. But if you turn that gas off, the rice is uncooked.
Right.
Same with timing. You have to get the right timing. If you don't get the right timing, you're done.
So I'm going to ask you a very personal question now. As an astrologer, are you always intrigued, like you feel like you want to read everyone's charts, or are there other times where, you don't want to, you feel like, no, I don't want to, or you don't want to share some information? Like, what are the kind of questions that you don't want to answer when somebody comes to you?
So typical questions, right? Like, when will I die? That is one of the most standard questions I get, and I don't want to answer that question. Because it's not, first of all, it's not easy to calculate when you'll die. It's really hard.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, you will die October 13th, 2028. Aisa thodi hota hai. If it were that easy, then, God wouldn't have even made an astrologer. It's really hard. That's number one. Number two, negative questions. Right? We don't like answering that. We can guide you. We can tell you if something bad is going to happen. But most of the time when there's something negative, we try fixing it. Another thing is when people come running to me and saying, okay, I need a gemstone. Which one should I buy? Somebody told me my Jupiter's weak. Should I just go buy a yellow sapphire? I said no. Because sometimes planets can be strengthened by the aspects from other planets. For example, you're an RJ, you work at the radio station. Quite frankly, I've been coming here for 6 months, and I think I've started speaking a lot better because I interact more with you. Same way, when a planet is weak, but that planet is getting boosted by other planets, why do you need to strengthen it? Strengthening planets also has its own, side effects, right? Now, coming to the other question, charts, making charts. Actually, as an astrologer, to be very honest, I make mental charts of people when I meet them.
Okay.
For example, I made your chart when I met you the first time.
Okay.
And as we're talking, I'm still refining that chart in my head. So I have a visual, at least an approximation of, for example, your Venus. I know your Venus is either in the 1st, 7th or 10th house. That much I know for sure.
Okay. What does that mean?
Venus is
You could not have not expected me to ask that question.
Venus is a planet that does many different things, right? One planet can represent so much. It can represent charm, beauty, speech. It can represent acting, modeling, real estate. You're an RJ, so we know, since you're an RJ and you're in the media field, we definitely get a sense that your Venus is strong because you're in the media.
Right.
Number 2, Mercury. You speak very well. We know your Mercury is somewhere between the 1st and the 2nd house. 2nd house is speech, wealth and values. We know for a fact your Mercury might be there aspecting that, or the house must be owned by Mercury.
Okay.
Even if I can't create the exact match, I can get very close to it. Number 3, you've been in this job for a while.
Correct.
So we have a direct aspect of Saturn on this house, or placement of Saturn on this house, that's making you stay here. You have 2 boys. So now that you have 2 boys, we know Mars is aspect in your 5th house because Mars gives kids. And that house cannot be a sterile planet house. It cannot be Aquarius. It cannot be Capricorn. It's got to be something to do with Jupiter. So we're trying to create that map now for you of where your planets are, which house it is in. And based on that, we will figure out exactly your personality.
Lovely. So what should, when someone comes to you and now let's say when the callers call in and they're giving you their name, the place they were born in, the date of birth, what exactly do they expect after that? I mean, how does that help you sort of come to some kind of a conclusion?
So generally, first thing is when callers call in, right? On a show like this where we're just randomly talking about astrology, very few people call. When we focus and talk of one topic, whether it is career, relationships, health, that's when most of the people will call. So if people don't call in today, it wouldn't surprise me. But if people do call, that's fine too. You come into an astrologer just like when you go to your doctor for a checkup. You go, you get your blood samples, and then you wait for the doctor to come, and he's going to go through your chart and say everything's fine. Same thing here. We look at your chart, and the first thing I analyze is how is your health? Because if your health is good, it's good. How is your mental state? Good. And then I start asking some questions. And then before you can answer, I start throwing my own answers, because that helps me validate the time you've given me. It helps me validate the date, because sometimes people are so nervous. Instead of telling me 7 o'clock in the morning, they'll say 7 o'clock at night.
True.
They're just scared. They don't know what's going to happen next.
So how does that shift the meter? Does it shift the meter a lot if it's like if they don't remember or they have like a very faint idea of what time they were born? And if let's say if somebody was actually born at 5 a.m. in the morning, but they say 3 o'clock, does that create a big shift in the reading?
2 hours will create a big shift. There are 12 zodiac signs. Each sign is rising, right? So it changes 2 hours it changes by, 1 house every 2 hours. So if you're off by 2 hours, everything changes in the chart. Everything. Okay. Jupiter, the planet of intelligence, will now become the planet of death. Moon, which is the planet of luck, will become the planet of service and career. Bahut change ho jayega. You want to make sure. So I always sit down in the first 5, 10, 20 minutes. I just make sure I get the right reading from you. And then I try to cool you down that it's fine, okay? Nobody's life is perfect. And the one thing I do differently, I don't know how others do it, is I actually show you your chart. I'll show it to you on the screen and I'll say, okay, this is it. Let's try understanding what the strengths and weaknesses are. Let's see which planet is aspecting. Why is it you get too angry? Why is it you're too laid back? That kind of stuff. We discuss those particular aspects. Most of the times people are surprised with the answers they get, but they're only surprised because they don't know what astrology can do.
Lovely. So with that, I'd like to remind our listeners कि हमारे जो caller lines है वो अभी open है 510-770-1550. अगर आप अभी ट्यून इन कर रहे हैं तो आप सुन रहे हैं the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show, जिसमें जुड़ते हैं हमारे साथ हर Tuesday between 4 to 5 p.m. Dr. Saket Bhatia, and he takes your questions and all your concerns, and then he of course tries to give you the best answers that he can within that time limit. And if you'd like to have a detailed conversation with him, you can always schedule an appointment. Give him a call at 408 639-5300. You can also visit his website, saketbhatia.com, or you can email him at info@saketbhatia.com. Abhi agar aapke paas koi bhi sawal hai, especially going into the new year, if you really want to know how astrology or numerology can help you. And Dr. Saket Bhatia is also an excellent life coach. That's what I personally like about all his shows. Along with the power of and the science of astrology and numerology, he also combines his skills as a life coach to give you the best advice that he can. So with that, yes, our caller lines are open 510-770-1550. So the next question I have, Dr. Bhatia, is, what information would I need for a combined astrology and numerology reading? You already said, the name and the date. Is there anything else that you look for to have sort of, a more accurate insight?
I think besides your name, date, place, and time, just your optimistic opinion, just your, just you coming here with an open mind. We're here to fix your problems. We're here to solve your problems with you. We're not here to increase your problems. बहुत लोग डरते हैं एस्ट्रोलॉजर के पास जाने से.
हाँ.
Why?
They don't want to know ना कि future में क्या होने वाला है.
But you're already living in so much uncertainty. फायदा क्या है उसका?
That's true.
If somebody tells you what's going to happen to you next year, or let's say sitting here, I were to tell you next year is going to be fabulous for you. You're going to go buy another house. You're going to upgrade your lifestyle. You get a car. You're going to win a lottery. What are you going to do? You're probably going to go start buying a lottery today. कि जितनी जल्दी लगे, right? Same thing. Come. You won't realize your potential if you don't do it. It's like you live, somewhere in Fremont, Hayward, Pleasanton area, wherever, right? If you drive down tomorrow and you say, oh, I like Palm Beach. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll start living there.
Right.
But till जब तक आपने explore ही नहीं किया, how will you know or not know? So learn, open your mind, come, explore.
So now that, so with that, let's take our first caller of the evening. We'll have you on air real quick. Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to this Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show. Can we please have your name and then, give us your date of birth and go ahead and ask a question.
I have a very generic question.
Sure.
So I have a question about how do you apply the concept of astrology. And I have a particular situation. So if Ketu is at the 11th house of Cancer and Moon is in the 6th house of Aquarius, how do you interpret this situation? Because it's a Upchaya house.
It's not Upchaya, it's Upachaya house. We call it an Upachaya house.
The Lord is in the 6th house. How do you interpret this situation?
I can't interpret till I actually get the whole chart. Just by looking at Ketu and Moon, it is impossible for me to say what it is, because I still have to know कि उसका Ketu will always act like Mars and Ketu will always act like the house it sits in, right? But in addition to that, we also have to see the aspects. If Ketu has negative aspects on it, it's going to create havoc. Who is Ketu in conjunction with? If he's sitting with Sun, it's not good.
No conjunction. No conjunction.
So why don't you give me the chart? Let's analyze it, na?
Okay. So the Virgo chart ascendant.
Can you give me the date, place, time?
Yeah, December 23rd, 71.
Speak a little slow because you're breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit, so if you could speak a little slower, please.
December 23rd, 71.
Okay.
Place is Sindri, Sindri.
1 second. That's in which state?
Jharkhand.
Jharkhand. Okay. And time?
11:55 p.m.
55 p.m.
55 p.m.
She's breaking up just a little bit, right?
Yeah, 11:55 p.m. is the time.
Okay. So this chart is... This is Sindri, Jharkhand. This is a Virgo ascendant, right?
Yeah.
So Rahu Ketu happened to sit in neutral dignity. Do you agree? The problem with this chart is if you look, all the planets are good. Mercury sits in enemy sign, which is okay. If I look on the other side, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Aquarius, Pisces. Venus is exalted in Pisces. That's a beautiful sign, right? In the Navam's chart. Do you agree? Don't study Ketu just by itself. Study Ketu with others. Now, where is Ketu aspecting in this chart? Ketu aspects the 5th house. Ketu aspects the 7th house. and Ketu is aspecting the third house, right?
Correct.
So what is the specific question that you would have? Just a general
So-
or special?
So it's a general question that how would I interpret the Ketu Mahadasha in this chart?
So Ketu Mahadasha would really depend on two things, the placement of Venus and the placement of Moon. Is this your chart?
No.
How is...
So the Venus is in the 5th house with
Correct.
Rahu, and Moon is in the 6th house.
Exactly. Ketu will act like Moon, and Ketu has to act a little bit like Mars, right? Because Ketu is Mars. Moon is on the 6th. Now, Moon on the 6th is not considered a good placement, but Moon happens to be in a friendly dignity. Ketu's dasha will not be bad for this person. It will actually be fairly decent.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the basis of saying that? It is because of Venus and Mars placements and Venus and Moon placements.
I would not say so much of Venus and Moon placement. I'm just looking at the Ketu itself is sleepy and adolescent. So Ketu is not going to cause much damage. If you look at the Lajatadi Avastha of Ketu, he's not going to cause much damage. He's not youth, and he's not somebody who is alert. He's not going to cause havoc. But 11th house, we like this placement. It's not bad, not the best, but not bad. It's going to do good for them. They'll do financially well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for calling. And listeners, अगर आप भी जुड़ना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया के साथ, you can give us a call. The studio number is 510-770-1550. You can also call him at his office and make an appointment at 408-639-5300. आज हम बात करें, we're doing a little recap of astrology and the year 2023. Dr. Bhatia is also sharing, some insights about how we can sort of, develop our personalities, our personal relationships, our, career choices to have a stronger 2024 and use the power of astrology, use the the science of astrology and numerology to have a better successful year.
See, one thing you got to get very clear is time. Nobody can change your time. Let's talk about time the way we see it, which
Right.
not string theory, for which they won the Nobel Prize, but time. Time is a line, in my opinion. String theory says it can bend, and time and matter and space are all, which is true, but in my concept, time is still a line. I can't go back. I can only go forward, right?
Right.
You can't go back in time. Time is critical. If you miss that opportunity in life, it's gone. वो चली गई है. You can do two things. You can either sit and cry, or you can learn from it and move forward. Choice आपकी है. We can't.
It's how you see it.
It's how you see it. Now, people have lost tons of money. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I was telling her there's this guy in China who went bankrupt. He had to drive a taxi for almost a decade, and now he's worth $5 or $10 billion. How? Just hit on another idea. So time की बात होती है. People lose money. Amitabh Bachchan lost all his money. He was in debts, and now he's got more shows, more movies, and he's so popular.
Yes.
See, things happen. And remember, things happen for a reason. They're trying to teach you. If you could make it once, you can make it again.
Yeah.
That's what I want to tell everybody.
Right.
कुछ खत्म नहीं होता. If you start a company once and somebody cheats you, runs away, it doesn't mean you're not going to make it again. You're going to do better. You're actually going to make a lot of money. You'll be successful. But till the time you don't get out and do something, what do you expect in life?
And it's okay to reach out, right? I mean, it's okay to ask. It's okay
You should.
to, even when you're looking for work, a lot of people have reminded us, recently it was Neena Gupta, or even Amitabh Bachchan has said for that matter, that he actually had to put his ego down and, go tell, because people don't know. People don't know your situation. So it's okay to go ask for help and, get the resources that you need.
I think you should, because if you don't, then you'll never know. See, what's the worst that'll happen? The other person is either going to say no, or they're just going to say, yes, we'll do it, and they'll keep quiet, right?
Yeah.
Which is the same as you not trying.
Right.
But what about that one person who says yes? That could change your life, na?
Absolutely.
So go, ask. It never hurts.
Yeah. So when we started the show, we were talking about 2023, and then, you gave a little bit of information on what to expect in 2024. So what's your reading like for the coming year? Especially, I know our listeners are tuned in. They want to know what are your thoughts about it?
I mean, like I said, right? Planets are going forward. Jupiter, Mercury, they're all moving towards the right direction. So business-wise, it's good. Expansion-wise, it's good. But the placement of Saturn in Pisces will not be good. The placement of Rahu in its appropriate node is not going to be that good. We are going to see more wars. We're going to see more problems, political turmoil. We're going to see all that stuff. It's not going to be an easy year. one thing we are worried about is floods, natural disasters, calamities. ये अच्छा नहीं होगा 2024 के लिए. But what I want to do is probably not this show, we're running out of time, but 2 shows down the line or next show, probably we'll just talk general horoscope reading for people.
Okay.
Not the, hey, today is going to be good, tomorrow is going to be awesome. A detailed analysis from your moon chart. We're going to try explaining to you ki kya hota hai, how your year is going to be. Relationship, career, health, finances, those points.
Right.
So expect 2024 to be good, better than 2023, but not the magical year you want it to be. And for China, it's the year of the dragon, right?
Right.
So dragon means fire, lots of vibrant stuff happening.
More exciting things coming from there.
Yeah. But at least we're not in 2020, na? The COVID era where travel nahi tha, you had to sit at home, nobody knew what's happening today, tomorrow. We're in a better time.
Yeah. But both are different sciences. I mean, there's astrology and that's a science, and then there's numerology and this is how do you combine both of them? How do you combine both of them to successfully sort of...
So, first of
Help
all,
people.
you are very clear on what astrology is. The
Sort of.
placement of stars at the time you were born. Now, when I look at your map, it'll tell me who you are and what you are when you were born. Looking at your dasha, I can tell you what a good time and bad time in your life is. And looking, now since you're residing in America, we have to overlap today's placement of the planets on your chart to see how they impact your life today. So if Jupiter is sitting on your 10th house, he's going to expand your career. If Saturn is sitting on your married life, he's going to give you stress. Mercury sits on your 2nd house, he's going to give you more speech benefits. That is astrology. Numerology is simple. Everything is related and comes down to a mathematical formula, which makes total sense, absolute sense. In fact, one of the scientists also said the whole universe can be narrowed down to a mathematical formula. There are 365 days in a year, not 370. There are 4 seasons, not 5. Okay, you have 32 teeth, you don't have 40 teeth. Why is it that everything is predefined? Why is it that a seed takes so much time to germinate? Why is it that there are the seasons, the months? Aisa kyun? Why do kids are born after 9 months, not 20 months, not 1 month? What is the reason? It's because of numerology. The ratio of men to women is very close to 1:1. What is the reason? It's all math. Numerology has narrowed this down. And believe me, numerology is not something that was introduced 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Numerology is thousands of years old. Really, it is that old.
Right.
And they've been working on fine-tuning the numbers. Each number has an expression. And if I were to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you offline. We're going to get your numbers. We just need you have to be open and tell me the year you were born.
And brave.
And brave. And then we know your name. And we create a numerology report. And you tell us how accurate it is. It'll tell you your strengths, your weaknesses, your career path, what your heart desires, life, relationship, compatibility, everything.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, wow, this is spot on.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you want to listen, discuss your strengths, your personality traits, your weaknesses, and how you can change some of those things, or you can enhance some of those things to better your life, to have more success, you can always give Dr. Saket Bhatia a call. His number is 408-639-5300. अभी आप जुड़े हुए हैं into his own show, the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show. अभी स्टूडियो लाइंस हमारी खुली हुई हैं, आप कॉल कर सकते हैं 510-770-1550. That's 510-770-1550 and ask us your question. And a few minutes left into the show, Dr. Bhatia, what else would you like to share with us and our listeners? And also, I want to ask you, especially the younger generation, right? I mean, the parents still sort of, believe that they should consult charts and they believe in the sciences. The younger generation, not so much. And parents also sort of hesitate sometimes, before they make a career choice or a college, choice, or what subject they should take or what their major should be. How important do you think it is for parents to sort of, consult their charts?
So let's go back. You said younger generation, not so much. How did you come up with that?
The younger generation doesn't seem to be very interested in because they probably don't know, right? That's why I was saying there are 3 kinds of...
Actually, on the contrary, the younger generation is more interested.
That's great.
The
Do you see a lot of that? Do you see a lot of
A
clients? Okay, that's wonderful.
More than you can imagine. I'm not talking younger generation as in 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds. We're talking more of professionals who are in their late 20s to their, let's say early 40s is younger generation. These are very much interested in astrology because they've realized, the educated, the smart masses have realized that they can use astrology to their benefit. They know that they could put this to work for them, so they don't waste their life, they don't waste their time. So, in fact, the rate at which numerology is growing is about 2 to 3 times faster than astrology even today. And it's pretty incredible how the younger generation is adopting to this. There was an app that just started. It's called Co-Star Astrology, which tells you how you're going to gel with your friends on Facebook. And surprisingly, that app was downloaded, I think, 24 or 50 million times in just a few months. Astrology, venture capitals are looking to give astrologers money today. They're looking to grow the business because there's such a mass appeal. It's just one of those things, it's growing.
And we'll continue that discussion in just a little bit, Dr. Bhatia. Let's take a caller. Yes, hi. Thank you so much for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to have a question regarding my son's, that means you want the birth date or what they want?
I want your name first, or your son's name at least. Hello to bole.
Yes, my first name is Vijay and the last name is Vora.
Hello,
and
Mr.
my
Vora.
Son, right. And my son's name is Harmit,
Okay.
Harmit, and
Okay.
last name is Vora.
तो Vora ही होएगा? Yes.
Yeah.
What is his date of birth?
6/6/1981.
Just a little slow. 6/6/1981.
1981.
So your son was born on a Saturday. And time of birth?
11:45 a.m.
Place of birth?
Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Achha. Okay. And what is the question?
I'm concerned about his health.
क्या हुआ ऐसी हेल्थ में जो आपको कंसर्न है?
Actually, right now he's not feeling good.
When you say, जरा हमें समझाइए, what you mean he's not feeling good? Because इतना कुछ देख सकते हैं चार्ट में. I just need to understand क्या हो रहा है.
No, actually he is having the thyroid gland, and still cannot doctor diagnose on that. Maybe near some kind of the tumor they have, they can find, and they do not diagnose yet, and he's losing the weight faster.
तो आपकी, just to reiterate, right? June 6, 1981, 11:45 in the morning, Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Right.
When we study, जब हम हेल्थ सोचते हैं ना, हम हमेशा देखते हैं 6th हाउस सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. आपके सन के 6th हाउस में केतु बैठा है. इट इज गोइंग टू कॉज सम प्रॉब्लम. ओके. बट उसका जो लॉर्ड है, वो सैटर्न है, वो 2nd हाउस में बैठ गया, वेल्थ वैल्यूज. ओके. उस पे एस्पेक्ट पड़ गया मून राहु की. दशा चल रही है वीनस सैटर्न की. ये जो वीनस सैटर्न है, इस कुंडली में वीनस इज नॉट अ वेरी गुड, बट ज्यादा डेंजरस प्लैनेट भी नहीं है. शनि बैठ गया. अभी हमें सिर्फ ये क्या, जब हेल्थ की बात आती है तो हमें थोड़ा ज्यादा स्टडी करना पड़ता है. आप एक सेकंड रुकिए. हम देख रहे हैं 6th हाउस पे वी हैव राहु, जुपिटर, मून. राहु इज डिजीज. जुपिटर एंड मून विल कॉज थायराइड प्रॉब्लम. तो प्रॉब्लम है, दिख रहा है. वीनस शनि की दशा चलती है. ये दशा चलती जाएगी 2026 अगस्त तक. तभी तक इतना आपको पीस ऑफ माइंड नहीं मिलेगा. थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखिए, बिकॉज द प्लेसमेंट इज ऑफ द डिबिलिटेटेड प्लैनेट नहीं है, बट जो दशा चल रही है वीनस शनि की, वो थोड़ा सा अप डाउन करेगी. ओके. थोड़ा ध्यान रखिए.
What they can do?
You can call me offline. I can talk because हमारे पास तो सिर्फ 4 मिनट बचे हैं. आप फोन कर लीजिए, वहां से बात करते हैं.
मैं आपको नंबर बता देती हूँ सर. द नंबर टू कॉल डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया इज 408-639-5300. इस नंबर पे आप कॉल करके अपॉइंटमेंट ले सकते हैं. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you. And we also had another caller who was patiently waiting on the phone, but I think she had to drop. So if you're listening, please give us a call back at 510-770-1550. आप सुन रहे हैं the Dr. Saket Bhatia Astrology Show, and we have a few more minutes. And Dr. Bhatia was talking about the younger generation, and how he sees that they're very interested now in getting their
There is a
charts
growing interest because the educated masses are saying we can use anything and everything to our knowledge. अभी आप ऑनलाइन देखिए, there are so many apps, whether it is Astro Sage or Astro Kundli, They make their own kundlis and maps, and talk to an astrologer model बहुत popular हो गया है, where you can pay a few dollars and talk to some random astrologer in India.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the companies are making 300 to 400 crores a year because people are even calling from the US.
Right.
So younger generation बहुत ज़्यादा कर रही है. What we're trying to tell them is don't do so much also. Have some confidence in yourself. Astrology is not a daily thing. You can't come to us every day and say, please bata do problem kya hai, how to solve it. It's a long-term thing. Yes, you want to start a venture, come, we'll tell you, is it a good time, bad time, good partner, bad partner. हमने कितनों को बोला है कि you are going to get cheated, or start a business only with your spouse or with your siblings. This is going to be better for you. People listen. So why not? I mean, it's just guidance in life. At the end of the day, you are the one who's going to decide. Right? आपने decide करना. You are the one who makes the difference in your life, nobody else.
Right.
But you cannot keep blaming somebody else for mistakes that you make.
Absolutely.
That's what I tell people.
So, what's a good age to have your, charts read? What's a good age to make that first appointment and come in? And then also, do those readings keep changing as you sort of grow older? Like, how often should you consult your astrologer?
So people come to us with their kids chart, and I always tell them not needed. If he's just 1, 2, 3, 4, क्या करना है आपने? Why?
Correct,
Let them enjoy their life. Let them play. You should not even know when they are age, unless I see something dramatic. The health is going to fall bad, or they're going to slip, they're going to injure themselves. Forget their child's career. Let him enjoy. Let him play. Let him go to school. Come when he's 13, 14, 15. That's a very good age. And when you come in, we give you general notes. What's going to happen? Career kya hai? Business kya hai? Then start coming a little, maybe once a year, at least to check in and see. But take notes, because time is important here.
Right.
What is going to happen on what date and what dasha? Those are important things. Time doesn't wait for anybody. It hasn't waited for me. It won't wait for you. You remember? And life जो होती है ना, ये आपकी है. You have to make the best of your life. You are responsible for it. Stop living a life of somebody else's dreams. Learn to live your life your way. Learn to fulfill your dreams. Learn to grow. डरना नहीं है life में आपने. The reason people get scared is because they haven't done anything else.
Right.
The day you pack your bag and say, okay, like when you came from India, right, to US, you must be a little nervous. You didn't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with career change. If you don't know what's out there, how are you going to do it? But if somebody tells you, yes, it's a good career for you, do it, you have the confidence on your side. On the contrary, he says, no, don't do it, then you know you should stick where you are. Or do it next year.
Yeah.
These are good things. Next week we want to talk about horoscopes in general. We want to offer free astrology horoscope readings for our listeners. That's what we want to do next week.
Absolutely. And we look forward to that, Dr. Saket Bhatia. And it's almost time, the time's up. It was wonderful, wonderful talking to you. We wish you Happy New Year in advance. Merry Christmas to all our listeners and to everyone who joined in. Thank you so much. And tune in again next week.
Thank you.
Into the show at the same time, same place. And don't forget to give Dr. Saket Bhatia a call at 408-639-5300. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhatia.
And the feedback for you did awesome.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You are listening to Radio Zindagi.